All right, my bully dog's starting now in battery mode. So this fuse right here was blown, and that's why it wouldn't work off the OBD. So now I can program this guy. I've thrown the switch on the bully dog. On this little box here, I've thrown it to battery mode, which is this switch right here, which means it'll run with the key off. We'll go in here. I'll show you from the beginning. Once you get this all flashed with the latest system, I'm not going to go through that because every time they come out with a new version, I'm sure it'll be a little different. And I ran into some issues getting this thing to flash. I'm not going to document it because it was really odd. You just go to menu. Go up to the top, change vehicle, and then you're going to pick your vehicle from your list and it's going to upload it. Now, I'm checking this setting here. If you go down, all the way down, you're going to see vehicle settings. And now it shows my engine size right. However, it showed my engine size wrong after I did that the last time. Vehicle weight is not right. This vehicle is actually more around 5,820 pounds. It says you shouldn't have to set any of that. Now, we're going to go back and we are going to go here. Let's go back to menu and install download. Yes. Agree. Continue. All right. So here's the fuses we need to pull. Number one is SEO ignition, SEO accessory, radio, and relay power. So let's get those. SEO ignition, right there. It's basically right above SEO accessory. So this is the one I added for my ham radio. And then this is the ignition one, so we're going to pull these two right there. Okay, then it says radio and wrap. Wrap 2 and radio 0. So it's these two right down here. Right there, and it doesn't look like I have a wrap. It looks like all I have is radio right down there. So we'll pull the radio fuse. Alright, so I don't have a relay fuse, I only have the radio fuse, so now we'll go down and then underneath we got body computer, and it's not a 306. Yeah, so that stops right there. So then it's the body computer, which is TCB body computer number 60. Here's TBC. Is that it? It's got to be it. It's right here. Right there. We got all those fuses pulled. And just to scroll down, that's for... Okay, continue. Turn key to off position. Already is in the off position. Apparently it just takes a while to figure that out. I don't know. It's already in the off position, so press continue. Turn key to run position. Okay, continue. Determining vehicle. Please wait. Little lights are flashing. Please wait. It's checking the engine. So now it's saving the stock config. Turn key to off position. And it just must wait for a little bit for you to do that. And then it prompts. Please wait 10 seconds. Turn key to run position. Continue. So now, select power level. Well, this is for the gas. So stock is stock. We want to go regular. We don't want to go premium gas. So we're going to pick regular. Enter. Now, we've got stock, tow, or performance. Let's do performance because we've already got a tow haul button. Let's do tow. Speed limiter. That's fine. Adjust tire size. So my tires are 32.8. So we'll go 32.75. That's the closest I can get. It has the axle ratio right. Basically, it's just going through a bunch of uploading. Turn key to off position. Continue. Turn key to run position. Continue. Download is done. Turn key off and press continue to finish. Reboots. So it looks like with this truck you can pick between stock, regular, or premium for the gas settings. Then you can pick between stock, tow, or performance for the shifting. It doesn't look like there's an economy setting, probably because it's only a 4-speed transmission. And tire size and axle ratio, and that's the only settings it looks like we have. So I'm going to go test this out. Alright, so you can't just put wheel diameter in here. I'm finding that if you just do tire size like 285/75 R16, you're not really going to get the real diameter because every manufacturer is slightly different. And I've been reading the KO2s are on the small side. So I've noticed that what happens when I set that, my speedometer is roughly 2 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour faster than what I'm doing. And the GPS also reflected that as well. So I'm going to do this the way I would do it if it was a bicycle. So I'm going to do this right. I've got a line on the tire, dead center, going down. I'm going to mark the ground. So basically dead center of that footprint. I'm going to roll backwards. All right, so this isn't going to be perfectly accurate, but when you figure how off, if you just use the tire size, it's going to be a lot more accurate. So roughly center of this width was where the line was. So I put the measuring tape there. Let's come back here. We are at pretty much 101 inches. So we got a circumference of 101 inches. So I just put a mark in the line, rolled it back where the chalk line was straight down again, 101 inches. So these tires in actuality, and they haven't been worn down a lot, that means I'm really at 32.15, not 32.8. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the bully dog on here, and we're going to pick a diameter closer to that 32.149, and we're going to see if it now matches up better with the GPS speed. Okay, so basically I'm going to go with the 32.25. That would probably be the closer of the two for accuracy. 32.8 that's putting it 15 off short, and that's putting it off 10 off long. So that might be the better way to go. It's the closest of the two. So it's been a couple days now since I've installed the Bully Dog. I can tell you that my gas mileage averaged out for off-road and city driving to be consistently about 9.5 miles per gallon before installing the new exhaust. Now, the question is, because I also installed the Bully Dog going forward at the same time I installed the new exhaust, it's going to be hard to know exactly what the new exhaust is giving me on miles per gallon. We did see what looked to be a slight performance increase after I had added the new exhaust before calibrating or making any changes on the Bully Dog, just using it as a gauge. So, but unfortunately, because of time constraints, I wasn't really actually to, do several performance tests and average them out before and after. But it looks like it was either the same or about a little better. So, in any case, it does appear that I've got this thing 100% accurate. And so what I did is when I got the new tires that were bigger, I looked at how many miles we went on the map, how many miles the odometer said we went. I also looked at how many miles per hour the GPS said we were going, and compared to what the speedometer said we were going, which of course isn't completely accurate. All these numbers are not completely perfect. In any case, based on that, I came up with a difference of 6% from the original tires that were on here when I got the truck. And so when I calculated all my miles per gallon, it was based at 6%. Now, when I first got the Bully Dog and actually configured this, I configured it based on the tire size calculated by 285/75 R16. Well, it turns out that these tires are actually about a ½ inch smaller. They're only really about 32.14 inches. This is what I've learned so far, and things that you don't think about until I'm trying to get this as accurate as possible. It does appear that there was about a 6% difference after measuring that out based on what the tires were before, based on size, which the truck would have been configured for, actual size and not diameter, and yada yada yada. It's still roughly 6% different. So when I was calculating all my miles, it was about 6%. When I'm saying I was averaging 9.5 miles per gallon, that's probably really, really darn close. Now, we should be more accurate, however, because what I've done is to verify that this is all where it needs to be, is I measured the circumference of the tire, calculated that out for the diameter, and that's when I put the number into the Bully Dog. And then I did some other tests to measure accuracy. So I learned a couple things. Mile markers aren't accurate. They can be accurate, but they don't take curves into account perfectly, because where you're at on the curve and what lane you're in the curve may not be the lane that they measured that on. Also, have they modified the road since they put the mile markers in? Has the road changed a little bit? That can change the distance. For example, have they added turnoffs? Going from here in Delta to Montrose today, I decided to test and see how accurate the mile markers were. Unfortunately, I only had about 3 or 4 miles of road that were perfectly straight with no hills. So when I did that, I had roughly 4 miles where this thing was pretty much dead on. By the time I got to the 4th mile marker, I would see the sign only about a second afterwards, going 60 miles an hour. The truck was just past the sign. So, I mean, that's pretty accurate in 4 miles. I mean, it was just like wham. Then we got to a point where I know that years ago they changed the road. And apparently they didn't change the mile marker. Then all of a sudden, the next mile marker, I was literally 0.2 of a mile off. I literally went 4 miles where that thing was almost dead on. And then the next mile marker after, where I know they added these exits and stuff off this road, is literally now 0.2 off. Then it was off for about that 0.2 off, and then we hit another area where I know they had changed the roads a little bit, and now it was another 0.2 off. And so within 8 miles, it jumped from being dead on for the first 4 to basically being a ½ mile off by the last 4. So you kind of have to, use your discernment. Does it appear to be accurate? Well, I was going perfectly straight on perfectly straight roads where I knew it hasn't been modified and the mile marker is pretty well lined up for 4 miles. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. So then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to use Google Maps. I discovered that don't work either. We were in Montrose. I said, okay, we're right here at Montrose for right now at Tacos and Beer. It's a restaurant there. And I said, navigate to our address here in Delta. And it was 23.3 miles. So I followed it all the way home, and the odometer said I was exactly 24 miles. The GPS was dead on. When we got to our destination, it said that's where we were at. So all I really have to go by is that one stretch of road where it was fairly level and the mile markers added up. And also when I was on really a flat piece of ground and the GPS speed matches my matches. And that's about it. I think this is about as close as it's going to get for accuracy. So it's now been 2 months later, and I've learned a lot since then. When I first got my new tires, I used Google Maps to calculate the mileage for a test trip. And the difference I came up with was 6% off of what my odometer was saying. And I used that number to calculate my mileage from that point on. That was accurate. That really was right. And this is how I know. When we came back from Colorado, there was 4 100-mile stretches that were pretty much straight. No real hills or anything. I went ahead and made sure I'd have areas there where I wouldn't have to pull off to get gas or anything, and I stayed in the right lane the entire time, not passing anybody, to make sure I did not alter my distance in any way. After doing those 4 100-mile distances, I added them up, averaged them out, and guess what? My odometer was off by 3%. It said I had gone 3% further than what those mile markers had actually said. Remember what Google Maps told me? From the taco and beer restaurant to my location in Delta should have been 23.3 miles. And when I got to my location in Delta, my odometer said I had gone 24. That's 3%. So, just use Google Maps. It's plenty accurate. It'll get the job done. How am I going to do it when it gets a little warmer and I want to mess with this again? I'm going to go ahead and configure my vehicle back as having 32.8-inch tires. Now I know that these tires aren't 32.8-inch. That doesn't matter. That's what they're rated for. I'm just going to go with that. So this is like, you just take the size of your tire, whatever you think it is, and that's what you're going to go with. Put that in your bully dog, program your truck. Then pick a route as straight as possible to get your route done, that you have a solid starting place with an address that you can put in Google Maps to a solid ending place in an address that you can put in Google Maps. Take that route without any deviation. Don't do lane changes or anything. Don't do anything that could jack up that mileage. Then, after you've completed that route, look at the distance your odometer says on your vehicle, and look what the distance that route said it should have been in Google Maps. Just go by that. If it ends up being 4% off, 4%. If it's 6%, 6%. That's all you have to do. Then take 6% from the circumference of the tire that you put in your bully dog, not the diameter, the circumference. So it's a little over 103 inches for a 32.8. I don't know what it is exactly, 103.15 or something. I know that's wrong. You get the point. So you would take that 103 inches and subtract, if you came up with a 5% difference, subtract 5%. Then that is your new circumference. Convert that to a diameter, and that's what you need to put in your bully dog. Now, the bully dog only does quarters of inches. Round down. If your tire size was to come back as a 32.9, just round it down to 32.75. Don't round it up to 33. Because over time you're going to lose some tread and you're going to lose some circumference on your tire anyway. So just figure that as a reasonable adjustment. I'd rather have my number a little lower than what I'm getting than an inflated higher number. I'd also rather not put more miles on my odometer than I'm actually driving. I hope that made sense, but I think that's going to give you the closest way to do it. Then you can play with those little fine-tuning adjustments to get the bully dog exactly reading where you want based on the bully dog's instructions. So that's the direction I'm going to go. As it is right now, I can't tell you if I'm getting better gas mileage or not. It did seem like when I came back on the trip and I subtracted 3% and just did the gas mileage, figuring it the old school way and calculating that 3%, we did do better. Pulling the camper, coming back all the way here, we averaged over 10 miles to the gallon. So that's better than what we got going. But it's really hard to say. Now, this time of the year, it's not even worth trying. It's -20 out. There's times I'm starting the truck, letting it warm up. It's idling, trying to get warm. All that kind of stuff is impacting my miles per gallon. It's just, I'm not even going to try to see where I'm at. So when spring comes, I will give you more updates on this. In the meantime, I'm done with this topic. I hope you found this video useful. I know I'm just obsessing about it, but you know, it's my hang up. All right, my numbers got to add up. See you guys in another video soon. I hope you found this video enlightening.